The Three Feathers. Once there was a king who had 3 sons. The 2 older sons were clever and proud, but the youngest son was humble and kind. As the king grew old and tired, one day he called his sons together and said,
"My dear sons, I do not have long to live, and one of you will become king when I am gone. Therefore, I will send you all out on a quest to find a carpet. Whoever brings me the finest one will be my successor."
The 2 older sons thought it would surely be one of them. They did not think that their younger brother was smart enough to do anything right. The king said,
"To begin the quest, I will throw 3 feathers into the air. You will start your search in whatever direction your feather falls."
The king threw the feather in the air for the oldest son. It drifted to the east. The feather for the second son fell towards the west. But the younger son's feather fell to the ground near a trap door. Immediately, the 2 older sons set off on their search. The oldest prince met a peddler selling carpets and demanded that the peddler unload the goods for him to see.
Okay.
The prince quickly looked through the carpets and chose the one he thought was the most beautiful. Then the peddler rolled the carpet up and put it on the prince's horse. As the oldest prince was about to ride off, the peddler asked for the money for his carpet. The prince looked down on the peddler and said,
"Do you know who I am? I am the king's son, and I don't have to pay you anything."
With that, the prince quickly rode off to the palace. The second son went west to a carpet maker's shop. He looked at all the beautiful carpets and chose the one he thought was the best. When it came time to pay the money for the carpet, the second oldest prince threw a few coins on the ground, grabbed the carpet, and left. The youngest son was still at home and felt very sad. Where was he to go to get a carpet? Then he noticed the trap door near the spot where the 3rd feather had landed. He decided to open the door and go down the stairs to a basement. He saw a huge green door in the basement. He knocked, and a big frog opened the door.
"What do you want?"
The frog croaked.
"Do you happen to have any carpets?"
The youngest son asked.
"My father is the king, and he has sent me to find the most beautiful carpet in the land."
"Come and see,"
said the frog. The youngest son found himself in a room filled with frogs. They asked him to help them dig a hole in the ground to build a lily pond. The young prince did without complaining. Then, when the prince finished digging, he said to the frogs,
"I have to go now to try and find a carpet."
But the chief frog said to the prince,
"Because you have been so kind to us, we'll give you a carpet."
The frogs gave the prince a parcel in which a carpet was packed and told him not to open it until he showed it to his father. The prince thanked the frogs and returned to the king. All three princes showed their carpets to the king. When the youngest son unrolled his carpet, it was the most beautiful of all. The older brothers were very angry because they did not want the youngest to rule the kingdom. They asked the king to give them another challenge.
All right.
The king agreed.
Whoever brings me the most beautiful ring will inherit my kingdom.
Again, the king threw 3 feathers into the air to direct his sons on their quest. 1 feather flew east, 1 flew west, and the 3rd feather fell on the ground by the trap door. The older sons were more determined than ever that one of them should rule the kingdom.
He won't be so lucky this time,
the oldest prince said to the second one. Back to the basement, the youngest prince told the frogs about the ring. The frogs promised to help the prince if he could remove a big rock that was keeping the water from flowing into the lily pond. The prince gladly did so, although it was a hard work. After the youngest prince had finished, the frogs gave him a little box with a ring. Again, he was told not to open the box until he met the king. The prince thanked the frogs and took the ring back to his father. When the sons presented their rings to the king, the older sons were enraged when they saw that youngest son had the most beautiful ring.
This can't be right.
The second prince cried.
Our younger brother isn't fit to rule. We are smarter than he is. We demand another test.
Reluctantly, the king agreed.
Then go and bring me the most beautiful woman in the kingdom,
the king said to the princes. Again, the king threw out the feathers. 1 flew east, 1 flew west, and 1 fell by the trap door. The other 2 brothers dashed off. They were in such a hurry to get back and be chosen to rule the kingdom. So they each grabbed the first beautiful woman they saw, even when the woman did not want to come with them. Meanwhile, the youngest son knocked on the frog's door again and told them what he needed.
This time, the king wants me to bring him the most beautiful woman in the kingdom,
the youngest prince said. The chief frog thought for a moment.
This is not easy task, but because you have been so good to us, we'll help you.
The chief frog then called a tiny frog out and spoke some magic words. Immediately, the little frog turned into a lady of great beauty. The youngest son was so glad. He thanked the frog and quickly took the beautiful lady back to see the king. The king and the older brothers were amazed at the beauty of the woman coming with the youngest prince. Everyone said she was the most beautiful woman they had ever seen. The king was very delighted. He declared,
No more contests. When I die, my youngest son will rule the kingdom.
The two older brothers gave up their desires to be the next successor of the king and happily admitted the result. Regarding the youngest prince, thanks to his kindness, he married the most beautiful woman and later on be the next ruler of the kingdom. He had taught his two older brothers a lesson that one kindness deserved another.
Cảm ơn bạn đã xem hết video cùng Vui học tiếng Anh. Nếu thấy video này hữu ích, bạn hãy tặng một like để động viên. Muốn không bỏ lỡ bất cứ video nào, hãy nhấn nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh và bấm vào hình quả chuông bên cạnh để luôn nhận được thông báo về những video mới nhất.